A cashmere sweater from Everlane costs $150. The exact same grade of cashmere, 100% Grade-A Mongolian, costs $50 at a brand most women scroll past without a second thought. Same fiber, same warmth, same softness on a cold morning. The difference is not in the knit, it is in the marketing department convincing you the difference exists. By the end of this video, you will know which 5 stores women walk past every single day while leaving serious money on the table. A 100% cashmere sweater from J. Crew costs $198. From Club Monaco, $250. From Jenny Kane, $395. Quince sells the same grade of cashmere for $50. Not a cashmere blend, not cashmere content, 100% Grade-A Mongolian cashmere, the finest classification of the fiber, for $50. Quince launched in 2018 with one mission stated plainly on their website: build products equal to or better than leading luxury brands and sell them at a fraction of the price. The model is not magic, it is the absence of middlemen. Here's what every other brand in that cashmere price range is paying for that Quince is not: a wholesale distributor margin, a retail floor markup, a marketing budget, a licensing deal, a flagship store on a street where rent costs more per square foot than most Americans earn in a month. Quince cuts all of it. They sell direct. The factory cost goes to the garment goes to you. The $50 crew neck is made from 100% Grade-A Mongolian cashmere, sourced from Herkus goats in Inner Mongolia. Quince actually publishes the production cost on the product page: $44.59 to manufacture. They sell it for $50. That is a margin of less than 15%. Compare that to the brands charging 3 to 4 times more, where markups run 600 to 800% over production cost. Here's how you verify it yourself. Flip any cashmere sweater inside out and find a seam. Count the stitches in 1 inch. Premium construction runs 8 to 12 stitches per inch. Cheap construction runs 5 to 7 stitches per inch. The Quince crew neck hits 10 stitches per inch. A $250 cashmere sweater from a department store brand often hits 7 stitches per inch. That single test, done in the store, tells you more than any hang tag ever will. The proof is not just the price. The sweater has more than 25,000 reviews, overwhelmingly positive. Independent fashion editors and textile experts with 15+ years in apparel manufacturing have confirmed that there is no meaningful quality difference between this sweater and $200 cashmere investment pieces from legacy brands. Quince also publishes an extended size range from extra small through 3X. Most luxury cashmere brands stop at extra large. The decision to cut larger sizes is always a financial one, not a design one. Quince kept the full range. The brand charging you $395 for cashmere and the brand charging you $50 are sourcing the same grade of fiber. The $345 difference is not in the sweater. It is in everything around it. A Supima cotton t-shirt from Brooks Brothers costs $69.50. The same cotton, the same American-grown extra-long staple grade, the same fiber specification, which qualifies for less than 1% of global cotton production, costs $14.90 at Uniqlo. Uniqlo is not a fast fashion brand. That assumption is costing women money. The parent company Fast Retailing started as a men's clothing shop in Japan in 1949. Uniqlo launched in 1984 in Hiroshima and is today the 8th largest fashion retailer in the world. In some cities, customers line up outside flagship stores before they open. And yet, the average American shopper still treats it like a budget basics brand. That assumption is exactly what the brands charging 4 times the price want you to believe. Uniqlo operates more like a technology company than a fashion house. Their research and development center in Ariake, Tokyo develops fabrics in-house. Heat tech, AIRism, 3-dimensional knit construction for seamless sweaters. These are not marketing names attached to off-the-shelf materials. They are proprietary textiles developed through research programs that most fashion brands simply do not have the engineering capacity to run. The Heat Tech line was developed in partnership with Toray Industries, the same textile science company that produces materials for aerospace and high-performance athletic use. For denim, Uniqlo partners with Kaihara, one of Japan's leading premium denim mills, founded in 1893. The same mill supplies fabric to selvedge heritage brands that charge $200 and up per pair. Uniqlo's selvedge line sells for $49.90. The difference between those two products is in the finishing and the label, not the fabric source. Here's what separates real quality from the appearance of it. Look at the label on any t-shirt before you buy it. If it says Supima, Pima, or extra long staple, the fiber survives 50 washes without pilling. Standard cotton starts breaking down after 10 to 15 washes. Most brands printing $70 price tags on cotton t-shirts are using standard cotton. Uniqlo prints Supima on the tag and sells it for $14.90. The cotton grade is on the label. The comparison does the rest. The Supima t-shirt costs $14.90. Uniqlo's markup runs roughly 3 to 4 times production cost. The brands charging you 4 times more run 8 to 10 times production cost. That gap is not quality, it is advertising budget. If you ever wondered whether the label on your t-shirt is worth the price difference, here is your answer. The label costs more than the shirt. This is the entry that surprises most people. COS is not known for being cheap. It is known for being minimalist and Scandinavian and slightly too intellectual to explain. And yet, it is one of the best kept secrets in women's clothing for anyone who knows what to look for. COS launched in 2007 as part of the H&M group. That sounds alarming. Here's the nuance most people miss. COS operates as a fully separate concept within the group, with its own factory contracts, its own fabric sourcing, and its own design infrastructure. The pieces in their permanent collection, not the seasonal drops, but the pieces that return year after year, are built to last. A COS wool coat retails for $220 to $290. A comparable coat from Totemi is $650. From Sandro, $550 and up. The wool at COS is merino, specified on the product page 100% with no synthetic filler. The seam construction on their blazers and trousers runs 9 to 11 stitches per inch, higher than brands charging twice the price for the same silhouette. Here's the number that matters. COS operates a direct retail structure with no wholesale layer, no licensing fees, and no third-party distribution eating into the value. The markup sits at 2 to 3 times the production cost, well below the industry average for this aesthetic tier. Their merino wool sweaters retail for $110 to $140. The micron weight on the merino fiber is 17.5 microns. That is fine merino quality, not mass production wool. Standard merino used by mid-market brands runs 19 to 21 microns. Lower micron means finer fiber, softer hand feel, longer lifespan. The difference is something you feel the moment you hold both side by side. The single strongest argument for COS is their permanent collection model. Most clothing brands make money through turnover, new collections, new seasons, new reasons to buy again. COS invests in permanent pieces that sit on the shelf year after year. A blazer you bought in 2021 is still on the website in 2025 in the same cut. That is a business model built on quality, not trend cycles. And a business model built on quality is the only kind that can afford to compete on construction. One honest limitation: COS does not publish factory-level transparency on individual product pages. That is worth naming, but the fibers are verified, the construction holds, and the price survives the wash test. Minimalism is not an excuse for poor construction. At COS, it is a production philosophy. That is a very different thing. If this is changing the way you look at price tags, subscribe. This channel follows the money, not the marketing. No brand deals, no sponsorships. If a brand does not pass the fabric test, it does not make the list. Drop a comment below. What cheap brand do you swear by, and how long has your favorite piece lasted? Help the next woman find the gold mine she has been walking past. Number 2, Everlane. Most brands tell you a price and ask you to trust them. Everlane shows you a receipt. Founded in San Francisco in 2011, Everlane built its entire identity around one concept: radical transparency. Every product on their site includes a full cost breakdown, materials, labor, transport, and their markup line by line, visible before you click buy. No other American women's wear brand at this scale publishes that level of detail. Take their 100% cashmere crewneck. It retails for $100. The cost breakdown on the site shows $14.30 in materials, $16.40 in labor, $5.90 in duties and transport. Total production cost is $36.60. Their markup is roughly 2.7 times. For context, J.Crew's equivalent sweater runs 8 to 10 times production cost with no published specifications. Their 100% organic t-shirt for women retails for $30. The breakdown is on the page: $3.10 in materials, $5.20 in labor. A $30 shirt with $8.30 in production costs is still a 3.6 times markup. But that ratio is transparent, and the material is certified organic cotton, not a vague cotton-rich blend. Their Renew fleece pullover uses 100% recycled plastic bottles with the source factory named and mapped on the product page. Their Tencel jeans list the mill origin. Their silk blouses specify the exact mommy weight, a measure of silk density that determines drape, durability, and opacity, which almost no other brand publishes at any price point. When a brand tells you the mommy weight, they are telling you they have nothing to hide. When a brand does not, ask yourself why. Transparency is not just ethical positioning, it is a purchasing tool. When you can verify what you are paying for, you can make a real comparison. When a brand hides the specs, that hiding is the signal. Everlane does not have a perfect record. Some of their early labor transparency claims faced scrutiny, and the brand has gone through leadership changes. That is worth knowing. But the published specifications, the cost breakdowns, and the verified fabric sourcing remain live on the site and on the wash test. The product holds up. In an industry built on vague language and inflated adjectives, proof is rare. Everlane puts the receipt on the table before you buy. That is not marketing, that is accountability. Number 1, Lands' End. Founded in 1963 in Chicago by Gary Comer. It started as a mail-order catalog for sailing hardware. It grew into one of the most trusted names in American women's wear, and then it was almost completely forgotten. For women over 50, Lands' End is a familiar name. Your mother probably had a Lands' End Oxford blouse in her closet. You may have owned one yourself in college or at your first office job. The brand changed hands multiple times. Manufacturing shifted offshore in the late 2000s, and longtime customers noticed the drop. That decline is real, and it deserves to be acknowledged. But here's what also stayed. Lands' End kept their Supima cotton lines. They kept the construction specifications on their core products. And they kept the price discipline that built the brand in the first place. Their women's no-iron Supima Oxford shirt retails for $29.99 to $39.99. American-grown Supima cotton, no-iron finish, pinpoint weave, denser and finer than standard Oxford cloth, less prone to wrinkling, better drape, better shape retention through repeated wear. The same construction silhouette that defined the American Oxford button-down for 6 decades, cut for women. Here's the construction detail that matters. The pinpoint weave on the Lands' End Oxford runs a tighter thread count than standard Oxford cloth, meaning more threads per square inch, a finer surface, and a fabric that holds its structure after 50 washes instead of going limp after 10. You can feel it against standard Oxford in the fitting room. The Lands' End fabric feels more substantial. The price tag says it should be the other way around. Compare directly. J.Crew sells a comparable cotton Oxford shirt for $88 to $118. Similar collar construction, similar fabric weight on the hang tag. J.Crew carries 2 decades of American heritage imagery. That is real. But on a Tuesday morning, worn under a blazer, that $35 Lands' End Oxford and that $100 J.Crew shirt are doing the exact same job to the exact same standard. The woman across the conference table cannot tell which one you are wearing. And after 50 washes, the Lands' End shirt still looks like a proper Oxford. There is one more thing that barely exists anywhere else in women's retail. Lands' End offers sizing from extra small through 3X in petite, regular, and tall, across nearly every style in the catalog. Most women's brands cut the full-size range when private equity comes through. Lands' End held it. The blouse your mother wore in 1985 is still on the rack for $35. Most women do not know this. The women who do know this buy 6 at a time. The brand most people write off as nostalgic still sells the best Supima cotton Oxford in women's wear for under $40. That is not nostalgia. That is the buyer's ignorance paying the brand's margin. 5 gold mines, 1 pattern. The money went into the garment, not the brand.